To get them to talk about President Trump. Watch this.
I'm asking all the American players this, and there's a lot happening back home in the U.S., and kind of has been for a lot of the last year, and I'm just kind of wondering how you're feeling about all of it.
I feel like whatever I say here is going to get put in a headline, and it's going to get taken out of context, so I'd really rather not do something that's going to cause a big distraction for me in the middle of the tournament.
I was born in America, so I'm always proud to represent my country.
In the context of the last year of everything that's been happening in the U.S., does that complicate that feeling at all?
I don't think that's relevant.
All right, Erin McGuire, Republican strategist for Axiom Strategies. Okay, I'm Brianna Lyman, elections correspondent for The Federalist. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning.
You know, Bill and I have been chatting about what we just saw there, and having performed at the D1 level in college, we had a lot of media training. We knew how to answer
So she's running track at LSU, by the way.
Any question that came our way, we knew how to handle it. Probably my earliest media training, right? I think that it's fine to ask the questions, and the athletes should be able to respond in any which way they decide.
I thought some of these athletes did a great job. You know, they're at this this Australian Open to hit some backhands, not give a State of the Union address on American politics. And I do think it was inappropriate for this journalist, or that's what he calls himself, to ambush them with political questions, because they are athletes. They are there to basically entertain on the field. And I think it just is indicative that our ecosystem in the media says you have to view everything through the lens of Trump, even sports. And notice none of these questions were ever asked of athletes when Joe Biden let millions of illegal aliens, when we had an inflation crisis, when 13 U.S. service members were killed, because it didn't fit any narrative. So I think if anybody cares what an athlete thinks, or they go out of their way to ask them, you need to go touch some grass, watch them play tennis, and call it a day.
Yeah, two things. None of the athletes, I don't think, said, "What are you talking about?" And you thought that was a smart strategy?
It would have been a good follow-up.
So how would the Buffalo Bills have answered this?
Well, actually, you could ask, because Jessica Pegula was one of the athletes who got that, and she's the daughter of Buffalo Bills owner Terry Pegula.
Oh,
she is an American tennis star. She's an incredible athlete, and she said, things are fine for me. I think that the problem wasn't necessarily asking the question. Sure, if you want to cover politics, color for politics. You want to cover sports, cover sports. They do cross a lot, and a lot of politicians love sports, and a lot of athletes and celebrities love politics as well. But it was the ambiguity of the question by the reporter to try and bait them into slamming Trump. He didn't ever actually say Trump. He's like, well, with how things are going in the United States, how do you feel about it? Because he wants them to get into this political fight and this political mashup with him, instead of asking the real big reporter question, which would have been whatever he was trying to get to in the long run. And I think that those athletes had incredible media training. Well done by the majority of them to not take the bait, to not make the headline for themselves of that match something about the politics here in the United States. They kept it focused on tennis. And politicians could learn the same thing, too, in media training.
All right. I want to ask you about Ms. Rachel, forced to apologize after she was slammed online for liking an anti-Semitic comment. Here is her apology.
So I thought I deleted a comment and I accidentally hit like and hide. I'm so sorry for the confusion it caused. I'm so sorry if anyone thought that I would ever agree with something horrible and anti-Semitic like that. I don't want to say that it is okay to be human and it's okay to make mistakes.
Brianna, how does that apology sit with you?
I mean, those are the best crocodile tears I think I've ever seen. She can't pretend this is like an oops, my bad accident when the context surrounding Miss Rachel is very evident. This is someone who cozied up to Mamdani, who refused to condemn globalize the Intifada. She also cozied up to somebody named like Motaz Azorza, who the Daily Wire reports was supportive of Hamas in the October 7th attack. So at some point we have to say these are not isolated incidents. It's part of a pattern. And I think what's concerning is this is a woman who brands herself as someone that you should feel comfortable and safe leaving your children with for 30 minutes or an hour. You can't trust your child to be with someone who buddies up to people who do not unequivocally condemn anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I think we're trying to gauge whether